You are listening to Gods and Fighting Men by Lady Gregory, Part 2, The Fianna, Book 1, Finn, Son of Cumhal, Chapter 1, The Coming of Finn. At the time Finn was born, his father Cumhal, of the sons of Bosnia, head of the Fianna of Ireland, had been killed in battle by the sons of Morna that were fighting with him for the leadership. And his mother, that was beautiful long-haired Myrna, daughter of Teague, son of Nuada, of the Tuatha De Danann, and of Ethlyn, mother of Lu, of the Long Hand, did not dare to keep him with her. And two women, Bogmal, the woman druid, and Liath Luachra, came and brought him away to cure him. It was to the woods of Slieve Blauma they brought him, and they nursed him secretly because of his father's enemies, the sons of Morna, and they kept him there a long time. And Morna, his mother, took another husband, that was king of Cara. But at the end of the 6 years she came to see Finn, going through every lonely place till she came to the wood. And there she found the little hunting cabin, and the boy asleep in it. And she lifted him up in her arms and kissed him, and she sang a little sleepy song to him. And then she said farewell to the women, and she went away again. And the two women went on carrying him till he came to sensible years. And one day, when he went out, he saw a wild duck on the lake with her clutch, and he made a cast at her that cut the wings off her so she could not fly. And he brought her back to the cabin, and that was his first hunt. And they gave him good training in running and leaping and swimming. One of them would run round a tree, and she having a thorn switch, and Finn after her with another switch, each one trying to hit at the other. And they would leave him in a field, and hares along with him, and would bid him not to let the hares quit the field, but to keep before them whichever way they would go, and to teach him swimming, they would throw him into the water, and let him make his way out. But after a while he went away with a troop of poets, to hide from the sons of Morna, and they hid him in the mountain of Crotacliach. But there was a robber in Leinster at that time, Fiacul, son of Cauna, and he came where the poets were, in Fee Gavala, and killed them all. But he spared the child, and brought him to his own house. That was in a cold marsh. But the two women, Bogmal and Liath, came looking for him after a while, and Fiacul gave him up to them. They brought him back to the same place he was before. He grew up there, straight and strong, and fair-haired and beautiful. And one day he was out in Slieve Blogma, and the two women along with him, and they saw before them a herd of the wild deer of the mountain. "It's a pity," said the old women. "We will not be able to get a deer of those deer." "I will get one for you," said Finn. And with that he followed after them, and caught 2 stags of them, and brought them home to the hunting cabin. After that he used to be hunting for them every day. But at last they said to him, "It is best for you to leave us now, for the sons of Morna are watching again to kill you." So he went away then by himself, and never stopped till he came to Maalife. And there he saw young lads swimming in a lake, and they called to him to swim against them. So he went into the lake, and he beat them at swimming. "Fair he is, and well shaped," they said, when they saw him swimming. And it was from that time he got the name of Finn, that is, fair. But they got to be jealous of his strength, and he went away and left them. He went on then till he came to Loch Lane, and he took service there with the king of Finn-Try, and there was no hunter like him. And the king said, "If Cumhal had left a son, you would be that son." He went from the king after, and he went into Cara, and there he took service with the king, that had taken his mother Myrna for his wife. And one day they were playing chess together, and he won 7 games, one after another. "Who are you at all?" said the king then. "I am a son of a countryman of Lunya of Tawar," said Finn. "That is not so," said the king, "but you are the son that Myrna my wife bore to Cumhal. And do not stop here any longer," he said, "that you may not be killed under my protection." From that he went into Connacht, looking for his father's brother, Cumhal, son of Trenmore. And as he was going on his way, he heard the crying of a lone woman. He went to her and looked at her, and tears of blood were on her face. "Your face is red with blood, woman," he said. "I have reasons for it," said she, "for my only son is after being killed by a great fighting man that came on us." And Finn followed after the big champion and fought with him and killed him. The man he killed was the same man that had given Cumhal his first wound in the battle where he got his death, and had brought away his treasure bag with him. Now as to that treasure bag, it is of a crane skin it was made. That was one time the skin of Aoife, the beautiful sweetheart of Ilbrech, son of Manannán, that was put into the shape of a crane through jealousy. And it was in Manannán's house it used to be, and there were treasures kept in it. Manannán's shirt and his knife, and the belt and the smith's hook of Goivnu, and the shears of the king of Alban, and the helmet of the king of Lachlan, and a belt of the skin of a great fish, and the bones of Assel's pig that had been brought to Ireland by the sons of Turin. All those treasures would be in the bag at full tide, but at the ebbing of the tide it would be empty. And it went from Manannán to Lugh, son of Ethlin, and after that to Cumhal, that was husband to Myrnia, Ethlin's daughter. And Finn took the bag and brought it with him till he found Cumhal, that was now an old man, living in a lonely place. And some of the old men of the Fianna were with him, and used to go hunting for him. Finn gave him the bag and told him his whole story. And then he said farewell to Cumhal, and went on to learn poetry from Finnegas, a poet that was living at the Boyne. For the poets thought it was always on the brink of water poetry was revealed to them. He did not give him his own name, but he took the name of Demna. 7 years now Finnegas had stopped at the Boyne, watching the salmon, for it was in the prophecy that he would eat the salmon of knowledge that would come there, and that he would have all the knowledge after. When at the last the salmon of knowledge came, he brought it to where Finn was, and bade him to roast it, but he bade him not to eat any of it. When Finn brought him the salmon after a while, he said, "Did you eat any of it at all, boy?" "I did not," said Finn, "but I burned my thumb, putting down a blister that rose on the skin, and after doing that, I put my thumb in my mouth." "What is your name, boy?" said Finnegas. "Demna," said he. "It is not, but it is Finn your name is, and it is to you and not to myself the salmon was given in this prophecy." With that he gave Finn the whole of the salmon, and from that time Finn had the knowledge that came from the nuts of the 9 hazels of wisdom that grow beside the well that is below the sea. And besides the wisdom he got then, there was a second wisdom came to him another time. And this is the way it happened. There was a well of the moon belonging to Beg, son of Buan, of the Tuatha Danann, and whoever would drink out of it would get wisdom, and after a second's drink he would get the gift of foretelling. The 3 daughters of Beg, son of Buan, had charge of the well, and they would not part with a vessel of it for anything less than red gold. One day Finn chanced to be hunting in the rushes near the well. The 3 women ran out to hinder him from coming to it, and one of them, that had a vessel of the water in her hand, threw it at him to stop him, and a share of the water went into his mouth, and from that out he had all the knowledge that the water of that well could give. He learned the 3 ways of poetry, and this is the poem he made to show he had got his learning well. It is the month of May, is the pleasant time. Its face is beautiful, the blackbirds sing his full song. The living wood is his holding. The cuckoos are singing, and ever singing. There is a welcome before the brightness of summer. Summer is lessening the rivers, the swift horses are looking for the pool. The heath spreads out its long hair. The weak, white bog down grows. A wildness comes on the heart of the deer. The sad, restless sea is asleep. Bees with their little strength carry a load reaped from the flowers. The cattle go up muddy to the mountains. The ant has a good, full feast. The harp of the woods is playing music. There is a color on the hills, and a haze on the full lakes, an entire peace upon every sail. The corncrake is speaking, a loud-voiced poet. The high, lonely waterfall is singing a welcome to the warm pool. The talking of the rushes has begun. The light swallows are darting. The loudness of music is around the hill. The fat, soft mast is budding. There is grass on the trembling bogs. The bog is as dark as the feathers of the raven. The cuckoo makes a loud welcome. The speckled salmon is leaping, as strong as the leaping of the swift fighting man. The man is gaining, the girl is in her comely growing power. Every wood is without fault from the top to the ground, and every wide good plain. It is pleasant, the color of the time, rough winter is gone. Every plentiful wood is white, summer is a joyful peace. A flock of birds pitches in the meadow. There are sounds in the green fields, there is in them a clear rushing stream. There is a hot desire on you for the racing of horses. Twisted holly makes a leash for the hound. A bright spear has been shot into the earth, and the flag flower is golden under it. A weak lasting little bird is singing at the top of his voice. The lark is singing clear tidings, May without fault of beautiful colors. I have another story for you. The ox is lowing. The winter is creeping in, the summer is gone. High and cold the wind, low the sun. Cries are about us, the sea is quarreling. The ferns are reddened and their shape is hidden. The cry of the wild goose is heard. The cold has caught the wings of the birds. It is the time of ice frost, hard, unhappy. After that, Finn, being but a young lad, made himself ready and went up at Samhain time to the gathering of the High King at Tawar. And it was the law at that gathering no one to raise a quarrel or to bring out any grudge against another through the whole of the time it lasted. And the king of his chief men, and Gol, son of Morna, that was now the head of the Fianna, and Quilcha, son of Roman, and Conan, son of Morna, of the sharp words, were sitting at a feast in the great house of the middle court. And the young lad came in and took his place among them, and none of them knew who he was. The high king looked at him then, and the horn of meeting was brought to him. He put it into the boy's hand and asked him who he was. I am Finn, son of Cumhal, he said, son of the man that used to be head over the Fianna and king of Ireland. And I am come now to get your friendship and to give you my service. You are son of a friend, boy, said the king, and son of a man I trusted. Then Finn rose up and made his agreement of service and faithfulness to the king. And the king took him by the hand and put him sitting beside his own son, and they gave themselves to drinking and to pleasure for a while. Every year now at Samhain time, for 9 years, there had come a man of the Tuatha Dé Danann out of the She Finnachai in the north, and had burned up Tawar. Eilen, son of Midna, his name was, and it is the way he used to come, playing music of the She, and all the people that heard it would fall asleep. And when they were all in their sleep, he would let a flame of fire out of his mouth, and would blow the flame till all Tawar was burned. The king rose up at the feast after a while on his smooth horn in his hand, and this is what he said. If I could find among you, men of Ireland, any man that would keep Tawar till the break of day tomorrow without being burned by Eilen, son of Migna, I would give him whatever inheritance is right for him to have, whether it be much or little. But the men of Ireland made no answer, for they knew well, at the sound of the sweet, pitiful music made by that comely man of the She, even women in their pains and men that were wounded would fall asleep. It is then Finn rose up and spoke to the king of Ireland. Who will be your sureties that you will fulfill this? He said. The king of the provinces of Ireland, said the king, and Kethrua with his druids. So they gave their pledges, and Finn took in hand to keep Tawar safe till the breaking of day on the morrow. Now there was a fighting man among the followers of the king of Ireland, Fianna, son of Conga, that Cumhal, Finn's father, used to have a great liking for, and he said to Finn, Well, boy, what reward would you give me if I would bring you a deadly spear that no false cast was ever made with? What reward are you asking of me? Said Finn. Whatever your right hand wins at any time, the third of it to be mine, said Fianna, and a third of your trust and your friendship to be mine. I will give you that, said Finn. Then Fianna brought him the spear, unknown to the sons of Morna, or to any other person, and he said, When you will hear the music of the She, let you strip the covering off the head of the spear and put it to your forehead, and the power of the spear will not let sleep come upon you. Then Finn rose up before all the men of Ireland, and he made a round of the whole of Tawar. And it was not long till he heard the sorrowful music, and he stripped the covering from the head of the spear, and he held the power of it to his forehead. And Eilen went on playing his little harp till he had put everyone in their sleep as he was used. Then he let up a flame of fire out of his mouth to burn Tewar. Finn held up his fringed crimson cloak against the flame, and it fell down through the air and went into the ground, bringing the four-folded cloak with it deep into the earth. And when Eilen saw his spells were destroyed, he went back to She Finnacha at the top of Slieve Fuad. But Finn followed after him there, and as Eilen was going in at the door, he made a cast of the spear that went through his heart, and he struck his head off then and brought it back to Tewar, and fixed it on a crooked pole and left it there till the rising of the sun over the heights and invers of the country. And Eilen's mother came to where his body was lying, and there was great grief on her, and she made this complaint: Ochenya, Eilen is fallen, the chief of the She of Ben Borcha. The slow clouds of death are come on him. Oh, he was pleasant. Oh, he was kind. Eilen, son of Migna of Slieve Fuad. 9 times he burned Tewar. It's a great name he was always looking for. Oh, oh, Eilen. At the breaking of day, the king and all the men of Ireland came out upon the lawn at Tewar where Finn was. King, said Finn, there is the head of the man that burned Tewar, and the pipe and the harp that made his music. And this is what I think, he said, that Tewar and all that is in it is saved. Then they all came together into the place of council, and it's what they agreed, the headship of the Fianna of Ireland to be given to Finn. And the king said to Goel, son of Morna, well, Goel, he said, is it your choice to quit Ireland or to put your hand in Finn's hand? By my word, I will give Finn my hand, said Goel. And when the charms that used to bring good luck had done their work, the chief men of the Fianna rose up and struck their hands in Finn's hand, and Goel, son of Morna, was the first to give him his hand, the way there would be less shame on the rest for doing it. Finn kept the headship of the Fianna until the end, and the place he lived was Alwyn of Leinster, where the white dun was made by the Nuada of the Tuatha Dé Danann. That was as white as if all the lime in Ireland was put on it, and that got its name from the great herd of cattle that died fighting one time around the well, and that left their horns there, speckled horns and white. And as to Finn himself, he was a king and a seer and a poet, a druid and a knowledgeable man, and everything he said was sweet sounding to his people. And a better fighting man than Finn never struck his hand into a king's hand, and whatever anyone ever said of him, he was 3 times better. And of his justice it used to be said that if his enemy and his own son had come before him to be judged, it is a fair judgment he would have given between them. And as to his generosity, it used to be said, he never denied any man as long as he had a mouth to eat with and legs to bring away what he gave him. And he left no woman without her bride price and no man without his pay. And he never promised at night what he would not fulfill on the morrow, and he never promised in the day what he would not fulfill at night. He never forsook his right-hand friend. And if he was quiet in peace, he was angry in battle. And Oisin, his son, and Oscar, and his son's son, followed him in that. There was a young man of Ulster came and claimed kingship with them one time, saying they were of one blood. If that is so, said Oisin, it is from the men of Ulster we took the madness and the angry heart we have in battle. That is so indeed, said Finn.